Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's Sunday, January 25th, 2026. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
That makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 814. And guess what's coming up in 2 weeks? 2 weeks. Has to deal with owls?
We don't have the appropriate sound clip. Besides, we might get demonetized for it.
Yeah, we would get probably like we're getting it anyway.
Okay.
Some supremely owly
It's
event.
a super owl based, very superb. An owl based.
Yeah. Mhm.
2 weeks. I mean, I'm guessing that's why we're talking about food this week. Gary?
I mean,
Oh,
we
wait a
are
minute.
we are bears, so
Yeah, that's true. Oh, which reminds
When are
me.
we not talking?
Sorry, I forgot about that. Gary.
it's all right. So yeah, when it comes to sports, we are known for being athletic supporters, and of course,
I have a few behind me.
but I'm bumped.
Wait a
And of course, the best way to
I've got
prepare
that.
for the big
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Of course, the best way to prepare for the big game day is to discuss the Super Bowls, of course. Ta-da!
Available at Dazzle.com.
Eat it.
There you go.
Comes out loud.
Yes, if you're watching the video feed, you can see Jeff holding up the chili bowl.
No, this is Super.
So, yeah.
This is the Soup Bowl. Remember, the Chili Bowl
Oh,
is
okay.
smaller. Apparently,
Smaller, that's right.
we figured that out last
And
week.
who would want
Learn.
that? So,
Learn
anyways,
that
that being said, yes, Damon.
I said we learned that in post show, I think.
Yeah, we did learn
I think
last
it was
week
post-show.
post show.
I do think that was during post show. Anyways, it's only the patrons kind of know that lore. But that being said, so we're gonna do a little categorization of our faves in terms of soups to give you ideas. Because if you are like us, as you heard in the pre-show, we are all hunkered down because a great swath of the United States is getting a snow / crazy ice storm situation.
Right.
People in the South that are friends of mine are taking pictures of their pets or their kids out in the snow because they've never seen snow. So yeah, there's a lot going on out there. But that being said, before we get into discussing our faves in a couple of different categories, Wikipedia has a robust, and I wish they gave the number. I didn't have the time to count it because it's pretty crazy how many soups they list on there. But they do explain that some soups are served with large chunks of meat or vegetables left in the liquid, while others are served as a broth. For those that don't know, a broth is a flavored liquid, usually derived from a type of meat, typically with a bone or a spice mix or a vegetable mix, for a period of time in a stock. And then there's another category called a potage, which is the category of thick soup stews. or porridges that have some meat and vegetables boiled together with water until they form. I don't like that phrasing. They form a thick mush. That's not very nice. And then there's bisques, which are heavy cream soups traditionally prepared with shellfish, but can be made with any type of seafood or other base ingredients. Cream soups are dairy-based soups, although they may be consumed on their own or with a meal. The canned, condensed form of a cream soup is sometimes used as a quick sauce as a variety of meat and pasta convenience food dishes, such as our all-time favorites, casseroles. So similar to bisques, chowders are thick soups that usually contain some type of starch. And while soups are usually heated, some soups are served only cold, and other soups can be optionally served cold, as in they can be eaten hot or cold. But because of it being so cold, and we have this big game day thing coming up, we're going to talk about soups.
Okay, so can I broaden what we're talking about here just slightly?
Yeah.
Can we throw in chilies and stews?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. Anything
they're soup
that
adjacent.
is, I mean, to me, yeah. I mean, they're technically not soups, but if it requires a bowl for delivery, like for holding, and a spoon of some kind to eat, I think it's all like in the same kind of like category area.
It's a little taxonomy type thing. You know how I talk about taxonomy, like a hot dog is a sandwich. It's under the sandwich category. Chilies are all kind of all in the same little family.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving on. So now what?
Yeah. So that's all right. So we're gonna dive in. I was originally gonna do like these different categories based on the definitions, and I was like, that's too much. So instead, we're pivoting and going in a different direction, and we're gonna talk about commercial soups, like soups that are pre-made that you can purchase, homemade that we would make ourselves or a loved one would make that we have a request for, and then lastly, our favorite personal soup, which could be either of those, could be homemade, could be commercial, doesn't matter. It's your kind of your preference.
Right.
And I reversed the order this time, so Jeff's up first, and we're going to discuss favorite commercial soup. And of course,
I'm going to do this.
Nobody is surprised by Jeff's selection.
No, actually,
I'm
wait, now he's changing it.
Because I just decided. So I'm changing it this way. Okay, originally I was going to go with Campbell's tomato soup. The only thing is, I've kind of moved away from that.
Oh.
Okay? Just lately, if I'm going to have soup at home, I'm just probably going to be making one of my other two selections that I'm going to put here. One, I didn't even realize that we had to fill this out until like we started the show. So I'm a little behind on things. I've decided that since both of you are doing a restaurant-based one and not like canned soup, I'm going to actually do one of the soups that is, is it loaded? I think it might be called loaded. Anyways, one of the soups that they serve at the cafeteria at my work, and it's the loaded baked potato soup.
So now the mystery is, are they making it from scratch or are they getting it pre-made?
They're totally getting it pre-made.
I'm not making it. I pay them $3 for a cup.
There you go.
So in this case, even if they're making it themselves there, that's like what they might do for yours, just at Panera or at Panera instead of my work cafe.
Right.
So I'm curious, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say loaded baked potato soup, is it basically a potato soup with stuff put on top, or is it actually all kind of mixed in?
It's the only thing that's not mixed in is like cheese.
Okay.
You know how like on a potato you put like shredded cheddar cheese or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure necessarily about how the sour cream might work. It's probably a slightly something to kind of include that, but there's definitely like chives and stuff like that in there, and
Got it.
bacon.
Like chives and bacon, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
cool. Because that's
I think
something
it's called
I
loaded.
always.
I'm just thinking about the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah. I often wonder. I like that kind of soup, but I'm probably be talking about one later. But usually the question I have is like, is it all like mixed in, or is it just like a potato soup that they throw things on and then they say it's loaded potato soup?
Yeah.
I feel like for it to be loaded potato soup, it should be in the soup and not a
Right.
garnish on top.
Yeah, but it's definitely the chives are in there. I can taste the chives and such.
Yeah,
And then one thing that I hadn't thought about in a long time is whenever you get something from the grill, or in this case, the big old industrial crock pot that they have for keeping the soup warm. You can actually go to the salad bar for toppings. So, like, if I get a cheeseburger, I can grab a slice of tomato from the salad bar and put it on the cheeseburger. In this case, I can take my soup and put on some shredded cheddar cheese.
Yeah, see, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Because I would do
Uh-oh.
that at a local restaurant we have. Well, it's not in Erie anymore. There's still a couple left. Called Haas's, and it's a buffet style restaurant. Like you can order a plate that comes to your table, but you don't have to necessarily do that. As many of us did, we would just get the all you can eat like buffet bar, which was there was a whole big salad bar, there was a soup bar, there was like a roll kind of cut your own sliced bread station, there was a whole dessert
Oh.
bar, like it was a lot of stuff. And so yes, I would absolutely go get soup and then I would walk over to the salad bar and I would add extra to so I'd be like, oh, I will put real bacon bits in my cream of potato soup, or I will just
Yeah.
Well, they don't
that's a
really
problem.
have. Yeah, they don't have any bacon bits as far as I'm aware of at the salad bar. I haven't looked, but I could do that if I wanted to. But it's not like they're
No.
big things; just a little cup of soup. So,
Mm.
Gary,
Nice.
I agree with yours, by the way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So mine is broccoli cheddar soup from Panera Bread. I actually had it for the first time last fall.
Mm.
I got a craving and I wanted some goddamn soup and I wanted good soup. And so I ordered actually, and I went searching. Like there was a special, I think it was DoorDash or Grubhub. They were promoting Panera and like there was a special and like you got like 30% off and blah blah blah. So I was like, but I found it very interesting because I was checking like through DoorDash versus the website, like if I just went and picked it up. And anyways, I was doing all these different things and of course they have the bread bowls and all that kind of jazz. So I ended up ordering like I think 3 or 4 different cups and you get a roll with it. Anyways, but I will say I have known that Panera's broccoli cheddar soup is I don't know if I want to say award winning, but it is highly acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why. It is really good. And broccoli cheddar soup is not easy to make. Hence, I would get a commercial because I want to enjoy something that is well made as opposed to me being mad because I spent 3 hours in the kitchen and that it didn't turn out.
Right.
So, all right, 3 hours
Yeah.
is an exaggeration, probably like an hour and a half.
But still, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I do love their broccoli cheddar. I do enjoy it. Um, yeah. I, the one thing I was sad about is that the Panera Bread near work closed.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even. It was when I was downtown. I'm not even. I remember it closing and being like, yeah, because that was my thing. I would get like not that specifically, but I would get like Panera Bread every once in a while for breakfast or lunch and lunch time.
Mhm.
Ah,
So yeah, that's my probably fave. Like, and it is because I wouldn't make it,
Mhm.
or it would be pretty rare that I would make it. So that's why I would go for that from them. I mean, I've had plenty of good commercial soups. The first, not the very first restaurant, but the second restaurant I ever worked at, pretty much through college, we, well, this will relate to Damon in a way. So the May company owned Kaufman's department stores. And
mhm.
in our Kaufman's in our mall, we had the TikTok restaurant on the second floor, and that's where I worked at. And we infamously had 4 soups every single day that we were open. So there was always a broth-based soup, there was a vegetable-based soup, there was a unique soup of the week that was not like a traditional one, and
Mhm.
then there was a traditional category. So like tomato soup, chicken noodle soup. Wednesdays was always Italian wedding. So like I got very familiar with soups in that job, and they were all made from scratch in the kitchen. Thanks to Shirley, who was one of the cooks, and yeah, she had a whole legacy of like making really good soup. So I've had a lot of different stuff over the years, and I've realized some things are better when other people can make them than me.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
very fair.
Damon,
So
speaking of
for me,
us being on the same page, I guess.
yeah. So one of my favorite commercial soups is Panera Bread's Autumn Squash Soup. It used to be mostly only available around like the fall winter sort of months. I think it's regularly available. I don't, but
Hmm.
it's I had it for again because like I talked about the Panera being at work, and I had it for the first time as part of like a you pick two kind of thing, and I really really liked it. And I think it's because I don't think it's just squash. I think it's also um, pumpkin. Yeah, it's rich blend of butternut squash and pumpkin, simmered with vegetable broth, simmered in vegetable broth with honey, apple juice, cinnamon, and a hint of curry. Finished with a sweet cream and topped with roasted pumpkin seeds. I don't know why there's a comma after roasted in that description, but that's what's there. It just was very surprisingly a good combination of sweet and savory.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're getting some sweetness from like a pumpkin. You're getting some sweetness. I mentioned honey and such. So, but there's a lot of savoriness, including that curry kind of just a little bit of a curry kick. Um, really, really, really love it, and I do miss it. I haven't had it in a while because there is not a Panera near us. The closest Panera to me is I think 5-10 miles away, if not long further away. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's far away.
I just realized how problematic this episode is.
Oh, are you hungry
Mhm.
now?
I'm not hungry, but I'm realizing I'm gonna probably get some goddamn soup this week because I'm like, ooh,
I
that looks
already
good.
made
I
one
like
of
it.
my. I already made one of my future selections here. In fact, I have some in this
I
bowl.
wonder which one is. I'm assuming this is one of them is near me. Oh, I guess the one in the one there that you see is closer to me. That's so messed up. Nope, wrong. One in. I thought the one in Henderson was closer. Yeah, 5 miles. So yeah, I don't get a chance to really eat this as much, um, or as much anymore, especially now. But
Mhm.
it just is a wonderful like flavor combination for me, and it's really really good. And again, like Gary was saying, it's not one that I would probably make myself. So unless it
Makes
came in a
sense.
can.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
get that.
Okay.
All right, so that's our commercial soup round. Next up, favorite homemade soup. Now, this is technically not have to be something that you make. Could be something that your, family member, loved one, other half makes, whatever. Um, or like if you have a great neighbor who makes killer soup that you get soup from, whether you bribe them or not, I don't know.
So
Jeff, you're up for.
I would like you all, or both, to click the link that's currently in the show chat and on Discord and go to slide 3. It is
Okay.
slow cooker taco soup. This is a recipe I found from All Recipes. I actually, Gemini offered to beautify the slide, so I took the beautiful version of the slide. It is a pound of ground beef, a onion chopped, or if you want to cheat, you can just cut it up into quarters and throw it into a food processor for a few pulses. A can of chili beans with the liquid, a can of kidney beans with the liquid, a can of whole kernel corn with the liquid, a 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 cups of water, although you don't have to put in the full 2 cups, just to your taste. 2 cans of peeled and diced tomatoes for the regular 14.5 ounce cans. A 4-ounce can of diced green chili peppers, or if you do what I'd like to do, which is get the jalapeno peppers. Same place, just a different heat. Package of taco seasoning, or if you've got your own personal taco seasoning mix enough to make a regular taco meat. 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, some sour cream, and a bag of Fritos scoops.
Mm.
Brown and drain the meat. Throw everything in the slow cooker and set it to low for 8 hours. Serve with the Fritos scoops, topped with the shredded cheddar cheese, and a dollop of sour cream. And if you have it thick enough, you can use the scoops as an eating utensil. It can also be served with grilled cheese sandwiches. So, when you were talking about that tomato soup, replacement.
Hmm. Okay, then.
That's nice.
I mean, I will say it sounds tasty. Like, the only thing that, and this is just a personal taste preference, I'm not a big, spicy pepper person. So, I'd have to, probably play with it a little bit for myself, whether I want, jalapeno or green chili.
Yeah, the
Maybe
original recipe calls for the
layer it
green
up,
chili, so it's not that spicy. I just
Yeah.
like to kick it up
I
a
wonder-
notch. Sometimes I throw a little bit of cumin in there.
Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it sounds really good. And I'm sure it is. I mean, you've talked about this soup for ever.
Ever
And it
since
must
I
be
found
a
out about it.
favorite.
I
It
love
must
it.
be a personal favorite. Like it's one that I remember you mentioning. And now I might have to ask Jim.
If you want to, you can copy my slide deck. I got a bunch of other recipes on here too.
Yeah. I'm gonna, because it's a slow cooker thing. Actually, I could probably do it myself.
If
Slow
you can
cooker is
brown
easier.
ground beef, as I said, with the
Which I could-
onion, just chop off the ends, cut it into quarters, pop it into a food processor for a couple pulses. You don't want to pulverize it. And just dump it all into a crock pot.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I like the idea. Huh. Hmm. Hmm.
I will say I have a theme for these last two.
Nice. Okay.
Um,
Gary.
for me, it's chicken noodle soup. Um, and I don't have a specific recipe because I'm one of those creative individuals in the kitchen that will make something
Mhm.
based on what my knowledge is. I did look up some recipes online. I do find it interesting the variety of like styles of how you could make a chicken noodle soup. For me, if like this is really what I'm hankering for and I'm going to go for it, I'm probably going to actually get a chicken, roast it, um, let it cool, take it apart, that whole gig, um, and then use the remains of the chicken that I separate to make a stock, and
Mm.
then vegetables, all that jazz. So because I
So you're
want,
going
yeah,
you're going from scratch.
yeah. Well, not the noodles. I'm not that crazy.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
I will probably buy egg noodles and just go
Hmm.
with that. Unless I'm in a funky mood or something and I want to get a little, wackadoo, I might buy some different kind of noodle, but that's just my preference. I was raised on Campbell's chicken noodle soup. But
Same.
as I've gotten older, I'm like, nothing against you, Campbell's, but that shit is so goddamn salty. Um, like,
Salty
and I
and
realized,
tasteless and barely any chicken or noodle.
well,
It's so weird to think of it like that. And that's the thing. Like as a kid, you're like, this is amazing. As an adult, this is this is garbage. Like not no, it's not garbage. Okay.
No, no,
It's
no,
not
no.
garbage.
That's actually
But
pretty
like
fair. That's actually pretty
it
fair.
just it's so weird because I was just thinking about it the other day. Because we were walking around. We were walking around the grocery store on Friday, and I
mhm.
was like, I should probably get some soups. And we walked right past the soup aisle, and I looked down at it, and you see obviously the Campbells because they're all together. I was like, oh, and yes, I'm sure there's like a lower sodium or whatever at this point in time, but like for me, no, no, it's so it's salty and tasteless. Like that's weird, and that's a weird combination. I'm sure it's fine, but I would prefer like a homemade chicken noodle soup or another commercially branded soup. I think I like Progresso a little more, but it's
Mhm.
been a minute since I've had the Progresso like
Yeah.
chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, no,
It's
I would,
better.
I would, I would definitely like start from scratch. Although I did read a couple of recipes this evening before the show, and I thought it was interesting that this person who is a person who's been in the food world for a couple decades was talking about these different 6 recipes that they tried and what they liked out of each one. So there was kind of some tips and hints between them that I found really interesting. Like some of them use only chicken wings, um, and then they like would have chicken breasts separate that they would cook and like cut up. Some would use a whole chicken, some would not. Some use a rotisserie chicken from the store, that's
Hmm.
already been pre-cooked to make it easier to take apart. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, there was a lot of different stuff. And it's like, so it was one of those like, this is your quick 25 to 30 minute soup, making. This is your other thing, blah 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 blah. And I was like, huh, very interesting. But I know that I've got the thing from my grandmothers. Both of them were really good in the kitchen. I mean, one of them worked at the restaurant that I worked at. That's how I ended up working there. And so you just kind of have a knack for things. And I get it, like cooking is not necessarily everybody's thing. The nice thing about making something like this, whether it be a soup or a stew, is like it's not baking. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, baking's so hard because it's such an exact science," and it's like, yes and no.
Yeah.
In some ways, I would think baking's easier because you just have to do exactly what it says. Um, but in terms of like these homemade things, I'm like, yeah, like you could totally, make something and kind of
Yeah.
fuck with it a little
Yeah.
bit because I came from, especially my dad's side of the family, like you just made do with what you had. So if you were like, oh, I don't have any lemons or limes, but I've got some apple cider vinegar, you know what I mean? Or just like something because you're doing an acid. Like you know enough about food to kind of figure out how to do the thing that you need to do to make that happen. It's like, oh, darn, I don't have egg noodles, but I've got orzo. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of.
I don't know if egg noodles and orzo, those aren't very comparable.
No, they're not. But the point is, like, because my grandmother had a family of 6 and she needed to feed them, it was like she didn't have time to screw around and like be like, and as a person who for a long time didn't drive, like she couldn't go to the store. She was just like, she just pulled whatever she had on hand and made shit happen. So
Yeah, sometimes that's the case, and I wish I had that ingenuity. I do not. I will own. I can follow a recipe. I can make things,
yeah.
but if the thing isn't there, if it says like this sort of thing, I'd be like, oh, okay. I guess I can't make this.
Damon's like, oh darn, I'm gonna have to order. I don't have garlic. Rat. Can't make it.
Wow.
Hypothetically, I'm just imagining.
Yeah.
I mean,
looking for the
if you
way to,
don't
like,
have
not
garlic, there is one of Damon's favorite spices.
What a throwback!
The video clip for that. The video clip for that is still on the YouTube channel. Just check out the clip section.
Oh no!
I showed you this when I first posted it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Never living that down. That's
Nope.
great. Awesome.
Well, to be
Awesome.
fair, it is Gary who made the joke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then your reaction was classic.
Right. That's the whole thing, David. If you hadn't reacted the way you did to that joke back then, we probably wouldn't have made a big deal of it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Dave. Speaking of David, what is your favorite homemade soup?
Oh, okay. So beef stew is what I put down, and it is specifically like my mother's. I think if I'm remembering, it was either my mother's or my father's, because it's I think it was mom's. Um, so growing up, my mother worked third shift, so more often than not, she wasn't cooking a whole lot. It was usually my dad, but every now and then she would cook. And one of the things that I remember her specifically making was kind of this beef stew. Um, and again, it's, if I'm not mistaken, because I was trying to find a recipe, I'm pretty sure it was also maybe crock pot. And this is like one of my first memories of us having and using a crock pot, because it's something essentially for her that she could set and then use it. But the reason, and this is going to sound terrible, that I loved it so much was because I can remember the smell of like the McCormick beef stew starter.
Oh.
Like that, I think I remember her specifically using as sort of like the way to get it going. I mean, yes, you would cook and brown the meat. You would like, brown the meat. So that added a scent, and then the carrots and cucumber. Nope, not cucumber. Celery. Excuse me. Carrots and celery and onion the little pearl onions. I remember 'cause I hate them now. But I loved, like, as a kid, they were fine. Um, and then just in that broth, like that stew starter, that was like a liquidy sort of thing, and you would add, it was condensed, and you would add water to it, and that's how you would make the beef stew. And I loved it every time. I loved beef stew. Um, and it's one of the two meals I remember having specifically that I love, and I think it's more along the lines of I'm a beef person more than anything else. Because there's beef stew and then there's pot roast, and those were the two things I loved the most growing up. So, but is there a thing? Hold on, beef stew starter. There it is. Let's see if I can find it. I know there's the seasoning pack, but I think there was like a base, like it was a something you could like pour out. Oh, there it is. No, that's the seasoning mix. Son of a bitch. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I will find. I thought I had a crock pot version. There we go. Slow cooker beef stew. Let's see what you say. Potato. There was another vegetable. It wasn't onion. It was potato. Meat, onion. Are you gonna give me the fucking thing? Doesn't. Oh, there's the fucking recipe at the very bottom of this page. Sorry,
Did you go to a mommy blog site?
Yeah, I did. God bless it. Anyway, yeah, this doesn't look like what I would want it to be. But again, it's just a really nice like core memory, a cozy, comforting stew that I always loved having.
I mean, pot roast, beef stew, because they're so close, except one is
Right.
more liquid.
Yeah.
One is cooked in liquid, and is a
Mhm.
whole. Well, beef stew is chunks.
hmm
They're just has that great
Yeah.
umami taste, beefy.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom. Love
It's
it.
very yeah, comforting is the word. I think
Mm.
that's the word I'm thinking of. It's just very homey, home style.
Mm.
Yeah. Would say Midwest, but that's not quite right. Anyway,
Fair.
Moving on into our
All right, are we ready to
contemporary.
move on to favorite personal soup? So like if you had a soup that was like at the top of your list, no matter what, that kind of like was the one that is your go-to, probably the one you crave, whether you make it or get it from somebody else. What are you gonna go with?
Jeff.
Oh, why is nobody surprised that Jeff is actually probably eating some right this very second? Thank goodness we're not
I
doing an
would
ASMR
like-
episode.
Please wait till your mouth.
If you would turn to slide 4. And some of this isn't accurate. The slide isn't accurate because I actually copied it from the previous slide before it was beautified by thing. It is called Italian style chili. I found this on allrecipes.com. And it has some slight modifications for myself. Not too much. It's pound of ground beef, onion. Sounds familiar, right? But then it's a jar, 26 ounce or 24 ounce nowadays because companies are
Economy.
reducing their size. But a jar of spaghetti sauce, a can of diced tomatoes, a can of kidney beans drained and rinsed. Water is kind of optional. Is up to a cup and a half. A 4-ounce can of sliced mushrooms, about 2 ounces of sliced pepperoni, or you could also like get some of those like mini pepperoni, Hormel mini pepperonis for salads and such. That's another way you can do it. A tablespoon of beef bouillon, a tablespoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Toss it all into a crock pot after browning the meat, of course. And if you want to brown put the onion into as you're browning the meat to kind of give it a little maillard, you can do that. Toss it into a crock pot, cook for 8 hours on low. And you'll notice that the description of serving suggestions are pretty much the same as the last one. So
Nice.
they are different flavors, but they're both pretty tasty. So my go-to chili nowadays is the Italian style chili versus my original chili that I used to make all the time.
Interesting.
And
I'm
I'm going to put it quote unquote Italian style because I'm sure Italians would be like,
right. I don't. Yeah, that's the part that I'm like, what is it? I think it's Italian style because it uses like spaghetti sauce and pepperoni and
mushrooms.
those
So
kind of things.
I mean, you can
And
almost
yeah,
treat this as it's almost like pizza chili in some sense.
Yeah,
This is what a pizza bowl is. I mean, take out you could probably replace the beans with something else that would be considered a topping on a pizza, and it would, because it's so tomatoey for the sauce. And instead of using like cheddar cheese, you could use like mozzarella, and
yeah.
as a replacement, it would be just like having like a pizza without a crust in a bowl.
Mm.
Probably better than
Wait, you could-
the pizza bowl recipe that I actually had found. I'm a little mixed on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much turn anything into a soup if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to kind of think through what it is that you're,
Mm-hmm.
what the flavor profile is, and what you're going for. Like I've had, my mind just totally went blank. That was so sad. I've had pizza soup. I've had lasagna soup. I've had like all sorts of different like dish things that have been basically turned into soup. In a way, and I know some people are like, you can't turn everything into a soup. I'm like, actually you can't. You just have to be creative about it. I'm not gonna say you're gonna like it, but you know, that's totally possible in that case.
I like these.
Nice.
I like these type of recipes just because it's like probably the most work is really browning the meat. Otherwise, it's just tossing everything into a crock pot and, I suppose, chopping the onion. Because it is better to have chopped onion than it is to like get one of those containers of dried chopped onion when the onion shakers. It's better to actually use an actual onion, and all you need is a food processor for this, because you don't necessarily want big chunks of onion in there anyways, and it kind of don't need to worry too much about like good mince or chop to it. It could be a little rough using the food processor. I think I was actually watching a Josh Wiseman video where they were doing like a whole bunch of professional shortcuts. And one of them was, hey, you need to chop an onion for a soup or something like that? Just throw it into a food processor and put it in pulse a couple times. But that's my theme.
Uh-huh.
tomatoey based and
Right.
and slow cooked.
Nice.
Gary.
This is one of my personal all-time faves. And when I thought about this, I was like, oh, I love making this, but I just don't make it often or very
Right.
much. Black bean and sausage.
Mm.
So I love a good black bean soup. And the sausage in this case is not ground sausage. It's sausage link that's been cut into pieces. And then is like cooked in the soup. You could like fry it ahead of time if you really wanted to get some extra flavoring and stuff. But I made it when I was in college, I think. And my dad's second wife, I made it at her house. I like went and got all the ingredients at the store. I was so proud of myself and made it and stuff. And she honestly said that like she thought it was an amazing soup. She'd never had it before. But I love having that with like a big huge dollop of sour cream on top and like some type of like probably carb on the side. Cornbread is kind of a classic, but you could do like a roll or something else. Yeah, it's hearty, and the ironic thing is I made it in the summer. So
Oh.
it was really good, but it was definitively like not probably the time of year you're thinking about this kind of soup. But I don't know. I had a bug for some reason. I wanted to make it so badly. So and on our blog, there's going to be a link to an example recipe. I tried to look to find something that was pretty close to what I remember that I had used. But again, like if I'm making it, especially like I wing it. I do my own
Yeah.
thing. So, but yeah,
That's
that's a preference, personal fave that I'm like, and I will say if I see it on a menu, like if I go someplace and they happen to have a black bean soup, I will be inclined to get it. With some hesitancy because I realize I'm going to probably be a little bit of a snob about it, so I want to be impressed. So yeah, and if I'm in a mom and pop kind of restaurant where they make stuff from scratch, I'm probably much more inclined because I'm going to trust that like they know what they're doing in that case. So yeah, good deal. So it looks like yeah, we've got some nice like natural selections, like mix of things. Damon, what about you?
sure. So Jeff kind of talked about one of these earlier, and it's for me the same thing. It's a loaded potato soup. And as I was saying, it's great when it is a soup that is everything kind of put together, with the exception of the cheese on top. I'm okay with it having like the chives and the bacon and the cheese kind of like thrown on top if it's big enough where I can mix it. So it's a classic. Everyone kind of has their own. Um, it's hearty, I feel, because of the potato and sometimes with the bacon. It's a nice mix of flavors. Depending on the maker of the soup, it could be thicker than normal, and I prefer a shit. I prefer a thick soup. Um, I prefer like I'm while I broths are nice. I prefer like if I'm going to eat soup, I want it to be a soup that is kind of a meal in a way. Um,
Agreed.
so yeah, like I don't want like don't get me wrong. There's some great like brothy soups out there that are great to eat and have when you're sick or whatever, but I need something with some weight, some heft, some give to it. Um, so yeah, but loaded potato is my favorite, one of my favorite soups all time, and it's just it's. I know you can like I said you can get it pretty much anywhere, I think it's relatively easy to make, but man, when it's good and hits the spot, it's good. I just had some on Saturday. We went to Chicken Salad Chick. They have a really good one. It's not great, but it's good.
I would say I agree that like it can really kind of hit the spot. About like especially when you want a soup with a bunch of stuff in it. It depends on like what I'm doing. Like I think we've been kind of thinking of a lot of these as like meals. Like the soup is the meal as opposed to like a side dish in a way. Because I realized like I've been to restaurants that have soup and rarely does it move me that I want to have soup as a side.
Mhm.
But it just kind of depends on the moment and the mood. I've had some really good quality soups. I had this amazing I was on a cruise. This was like I think my gosh, when was this? 93? Um went on a cruise, had strawberry soup.
Mm.
And it was like it's a cold soup. It's basically pureed strawberries with cream. There's not a lot necessarily to it. But oh my god, it was so good. And it was like transformative. Like I'd never had anything like it before. I was like, what? I was like, you could do this. Um, so yeah, there's definitely times when like there's a simplicity aspect and there's not a lot of stuff, but I'm a bitch who likes a lot of things. So like I want like if I'm gonna have a soup or a stew, a casserole, a thing, I want a bunch of stuff. Like classically, I'm not. I think about this when it comes to chocolate. People are like, "Ooh, I love plain chocolate," and I was like, like I gotta have some shit in it. I want nuts. I want crispies. I want extra stuff. Like I gotta have things with things. Like just like having eggs. I want to have like an omelet with stuff, not necessarily just straight up eggs. There's nothing wrong with it. I just want variety.
Right.
So yeah, I hear you on that, like wanting a soup with a bunch of stuff. Nice.
Agreed.
And then of course, we could not have this last category, which are the honorable mentions. Which I'm surprised because normally Jeff creates the honorable mentions as we're doing Let's Talk About Food episodes on the fly, and I'm the first one that did it this time.
I don't have many soups that I really eat besides my go-tos. So normally I don't have anything, but if we're going to do honorable mentions, also honorable mention one of the other soups that they serve at my work cafe. And that is I think it was called red or Thai red curry with lentils or something like that. I don't remember the exact name. This is one of the things about looking at the card.
Yeah.
But it's tasty.
Yeah.
I don't know what much to say about it, but it's good. Thai red curry.
Is there
Thai
a
curry.
Yeah. Is there a I'm assuming it's not a very spicy heavy soup, or is there a bit of spice, or is there a bit of a kick?
I hate to say this, but a lot of the food that they serve at my cafe is kind of bland.
Yeah. Serving
But
to everyone.
there's
That's kind of what he's going for when he's asking the question. He doesn't want something to be spicy. So
I'm okay if it's bland.
yeah,
Ish.
there is a little kick in there.
Yeah.
But it's to me it's fairly tame. Like
yeah,
I
I would
things
say
more
any
spicy at Taco Bell.
yeah, I would say any commercial location probably tends to, for the most part, especially if it's like on an Americana aspect like to it. Not that this is, but I can understand where like they're not like making 5 chili rating. You know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
although that would be
Yeah,
cool if, like, when you go to get it, if they were like, if you want it spicier, you know what I mean, and then they had extra stuff to like amp it up
uh-huh.
if you really wanted to.
Mm,
Although some people carry hot sauce with them all the time, so
I
that's
don't,
fair.
but that's me.
true, very true.
Trader Joe's apparently has a Thai style red curry soup.
hmm
Interesting. Anyway, sorry, Gary.
That's all right. We were kind of talking about this earlier as we were discussing the beef stew thing. That's what made me want to do the honorable mention for pot roast soup. There's a local restaurant to here that makes amazing pot roast sandwiches that at my old previous career we would order from them usually like once a week or once every other week, and they would put out a whole month menu. And so infamously somebody would get the new month menu at the top of the month, and then a bunch of us there would like look through the menu because we were looking for when they were doing their pot roast special because it wasn't available every day. It was usually like one day a month. And then they would also make a pot roast soup, which was basically the same thing as the pot roast sandwich, except the pot roast sandwich was pretty straightforward. It was the beef in the au jus and with some melted cheese. Like you could add extra stuff if you wanted to because it's a delicatessen type business, so they have extra ingredients. But in this case, the pot roast soup was legitimately your beef broth base, chunks of cooked down beef roast, and carrots and potatoes, maybe some celery. It was very straightforward, but my God, it was so flavorful. So I put an example recipe link because I tried to find one that approximated it. The only thing, if I remember correctly, about this one that I put on there is I think they have mushrooms listed in it, which I personally don't care. I like mushrooms in food; it doesn't bother me. But if that's not your gig, just leave it out.
Right.
But yeah,
I hate these sites.
Damon, what about you?
I have to scroll
Huh?
like practically through the entire thing just to get to the damn recipe.
I know, mommy blogging is just like still crazy as shit these days.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a
Full of
story in
ads.
600 words about how I decided to make this and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, for the love of everything, just give me the goddamn recipe.
So, my honorable mention is lobster bisque. I know Jeff is not a fan of seafood, so this is not a soup for him. But as a fan of seafoods and certain seafoods, not all seafood, um,
Mhm.
I really do enjoy this soup. And I think, and this is gonna sound bad, but I think I like it more for the bisque part than the lobster part. Um,
Mm.
it tends to be, a thicker. We've talked about my thick soups. It tends to be a thicker base soup, and it's usually quite tasty. It can be. I'm really enjoying. I put down Alton Brown's recipe because it was the first one I saw, and I'm like, that sounds amazing. But his looks a little thinner, and it also has rice in it, which I wasn't expecting. Um, but I think that would be a very nice way to make this soup. But then there was also the New York Times one, which I feel is more. It might actually be the same fucking thing as I'm reading across them.
hmm
Not quite, but yeah. It's just a really, it could be flavorful. It could have a lot of, um, you would barely like not barely taste, but you'll get a good taste of like a lobster, but you're also getting a butteriness, a tomato. Um, Sometimes there's a cream involved too, so are really good. Again, I know um, this is a no for Jeff, but
It's fine.
yeah,
It may be a no
yeah,
for me, but it's fine.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
going
sure there are
to
different.
link.
Are you adding
the
another one?
all recipes links for my soups that I got from allrecipes.com.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's not with any of my modifications, but it's the original.
Yeah.
And it's easier than sharing a slide deck which is full of recipes.
And with the wait. Now I want soup.
Told you.
You know, you should probably get yourself a nice Cubs Out Loud soup bowl. It's got a handle. It's large. And this is a soup bowl.
Yeah.
This is what you have for a soup bowl. not the chili bowl. The chili bowl, if you want something that's a little bit smaller, go for it. It's fine. But you chili out of the soup bowl because it's the right size. We're bears. We need the bigger ones. But I think that's the end. Hope you had a super time.
I mean, here's the thing. You've got a couple weeks till the big game. We've gave you some ideas. So even some links for recipes and stuff. You can make something for that day. You don't have to do the traditional pigs in a blanket and wings and, all that jazz. You can just have soup.
Queso?
And then you could watch the Bad Bunny, concert.
With this game that's around it,
Yeah.
And the commercial.
Yeah.
And the commercials.
Right. Totally.
I wonder how much you're charging for 30-second spots this year. I used to annually get the annual report about it.
Super Bowl commercials cost for a 30-second spot are around $7 to $8 million for the 2024-2025 game.
Yeah, because I think the first time it was only 3. That was back in 2020. And that's for 30 seconds, by the way. 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those commercials are not 30 seconds. They are longer than 30 seconds, which means they have to pay more for those. It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is literally the most watched television show or television program in the United States every year. Every single freaking year. There is no other program that has the most viewers. But there are people who are watching it for the game because us crazy Americans like American football. But probably the majority of those people who are watching that game aren't watching it for the game. They're watching it for the commercials. And honestly, I think the commercials have gone downhill since when we were kids. In fact, that's where I think the Budweiser frogs first appeared, was in a Super Bowl commercial. Bud.
Yep.
Anyway. So some of the classic commercials have disappeared. So, but that's beside the point. Anyways, that's the end. Oh. What are your favorite soups? Let us know. There's plenty of ways to do that. You can pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 361-CWELL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate places the URL. Join our entourage chat on Telegram at bit.ly/telegram-COL. If you would like to know when we're planning on recording these shows, check out our Google Calendar at bit.ly/calendars-COL. You can get various accoutrements, including a Consent is My Foreplay shirt, and Made to Be shirt, just a logo shirt, or you can get a soup mug. These are really good soup mugs. I've had this for like 5 or 6 years. I think I got this before the pandemic. And it's still around. It looks great. It's been through the dishwasher I don't know how many times, and it's still slick. It's great. I love this. I love this soup mug. That's over at Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud. Some of the designs were designed by Smash. You can find more of his work at tpublic.com/user/SmashyTheBear. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud or send us a donation at paypal.me/CubsOutLoud. You can find us on the various podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Audible, etc. You can find me on the internet as Box Cub. And don't forget, if you go to either my Blue Sky or my X, there will be a link to my story, which I just posted chapters 9 through 12 on, right in my profile. Update. I made myself some cover art. You can see that cover art on my Blue Sky and Twitter, and I even got a header image for it. It's really neat. Also, based off of that image, I threw it into Grok to make a 6-second video promo. It's really cool. I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy about it. I'm also part of the Reach on X with my character Match. Soon to be having a second one. It'll be coming too. So check those out. Damon?
Hey, if you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me at TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79 on most related sites. Or you can find me as Pup Umbra 79 on Blue Sky. That Blue Sky is not safe for work. For safe for work stuff, you want DMA Gamer on Blue Sky or TikTok. Gary?
If you want to get in touch with me online, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as GareBear73.
And with that, say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.